Alright, we got these spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Chapter 12. Just like old times, guys. And also, there's a whole bunch of things I need to discuss with me covering these spoilers. But I'll talk about it after we get through them because I don't want to lose any more of your attention span than I already have. But we're finding out what's going on with the Rumelians and why they think that there are KAYLANs on Earth and how they relate to cursed spirits and all that stuff. It's pretty fascinating. Because the big cliffhanger at the end of the previous chapter was us seeing an elder Rumelian telling the others that humans were killing KAYLANs. And we also saw that he was crying from his third eye. Essentially, you can only cry from your third eye if a KAYLAN had died, or if you yourself are about to die, or if you're born or whatever. Now, also, let me preface that I can't show any panels because they have not been released yet. I will, however, as always, go over this chapter in detail with the panels on Sunday once it is officially released. So if you haven't already, subscribe for that because I always cover the new Modulo chapters and I will be covering season 3 in January. So let's try to get 300k before the end of the year. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. So the chapter starts off with Usami talking to Jabaloma about what had happened at the end of the previous chapter. Jabaloma says that they apparently witnessed a KAYLAN being killed in Tokyo, and this surprises Usami. Then we come to Maru talking to Tsurugi and Yuka, and they give us some pretty valuable exposition as to what's going on in Tokyo. Because, you know, in the original Jujutsu Kaisen series, Tokyo became like ground zero after Kenjaku had released all of those cursed spirits. What happened afterwards with Hojo versus Sukuna and Sukuna's gauntlet on all that stuff. And it hasn't recovered at all. It's actually like an uninhabited place at this point, and cursed spirits just kind of live there almost exclusively. There's more to this sequence that we'll talk about on Sunday, but essentially the public is just led to believe at this point that only cursed spirits exist in Tokyo and can manifest there. Although that's not entirely the truth, since we know as the audience from the initial exposition that we got that cursed spirits are just born from Japanese people in general. But the way that things have evolved, I guess, most cursed spirits are just in Tokyo at this point. They even have like these protective wards outside of Tokyo, like for example in Kyoto where they are. And it's like in that little wooden shrine place that we saw in Jujutsu Kaisen originally from time to time. And it's like this ball that's wrapped up with all of these talisman things. Now, I don't want to go too much into what this stuff is, but I guess I'll talk about it Sunday because there could be a theory as to the significance of this stuff other than it just warding off cursed spirits. But also, in order to keep the cursed spirits in Tokyo and not spreading out into the rest of Japan, they have like this great purification where other sorcerers go around and just start killing cursed spirits essentially, especially in Tokyo, to keep them in check. We actually do get to see what Tokyo looks like, and it's referred to as the realm of the inhuman because I guess that's a play on the big final arc of Jujutsu Kaisen, at least going by the manga titles of the chapters, where it was like the great inhuman Makio battle or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but it's just completely overrun. It looks like The Last of Us, but just with cursed spirits. We'll look at this on Sunday, of course. And we see that broccoli cut sorcerer guy who has like issues with Usami. He's basically just the foil amongst the Jujutsu headquarters, I guess. And they're going around in this great purification thing to, you know, cull the cursed spirits so that they, I guess, don't get out of control. And we get the big crazy reveal of this chapter, or at least one of them. And it's that some of the Rumelians are in Tokyo and they're like chilling with the cursed spirits. They're actually treating them like animals or like horses or whatever. They're like letting it lick their faces. They're like petting it. And this is surprising, of course, but it's also understandable because the Rumelians worship the KAYLANs back on Smurria. They're like the big part of their religion. We actually found out in the previous chapter that apparently the KAYLANs are responsible for giving the Sumerians cursed energy in the first place because they received it from the gods. We already talked about this, probably no point to really dive deeper into that, but they're like their sacred cows. And the broccoli cut sorcerer guy and his teammate are shocked by this because, first of all, Sumerians aren't supposed to be off the ship without their knowledge, and second of all, no one is supposed to be in Tokyo. So they've kind of been sneaking off of the ship to go worship these cursed spirits because they think that they're KAYLANs. Then we find out that KAYLANs are extremely similar to cursed spirits, but they have like physical, tangible bodies, as to where cursed spirits don't. They're like cursed energy. Or as they say, spiritual entities. And of course, the Sumerians can see the cursed spirits because they have cursed energy. They're like sorcerers. But it's implied that the broccoli cut guy winds up killing that cursed spirit. And this, of course, angers the Sumerians, and they actually start crying from their third eye. We actually see that this broccoli cut guy has like a gun, question mark? He has like a rifle or something, like a cursed tool rifle, which is interesting. I like it. It's different. And Usami shows up just in time and stops him from like shooting the Sumerians. And Cross is actually there as well, and he's talking to the Rumelians, and he's like, hey, it's a cursed spirit, not a KAYLAN. And then the guy's like, I'm crying because it died. It's like, it has to be a KAYLAN. And he's like, well, if it was truly a KAYLAN, the strain on your brain from the tear flow would be far worse than this. So it's kind of like this weird phenomenon that's happening to them. It's almost like, I guess, akin to like eating sucralose or, fake sugar as opposed to taking in real sugar, because your brain and your body know that you're taking in something sweet, but it also is not exactly sugar. So it's like this weird reaction that you get to it. So it's kind of like that, I guess. Now, I'll try to go more into this on Sunday, the difference between KAYLANs and cursed spirits, but that's the long and the short of it. Then we come to like this standstill between the human sorcerers and the Rumelians. Some are understanding, some aren't, but it ultimately comes down to the fact that Jujutsu headquarters didn't tell the Sumerians that cursed spirits were a thing. And this is understandable because they just didn't know. They felt that it was better to not tell them because of, I guess, the problems that it could cause, the aggression or whatever. And some are understanding about this and some aren't. And it leads to more conflict, but surprisingly, Cross is trying to mediate this. Until we come into this big shocking moment at the end of the chapter. And I don't really want to talk about it in this video because I need to give you guys incentive to even want to watch my video on Sunday. I mean, if you really dig deep enough, you can find these spoilers yourself. But, on Sunday, I'll talk about the big crazy thing that happens in this chapter. But that's ultimately it. Now, let me also get into me covering these spoilers because, first of all, I don't even know if you guys want me to cover these spoilers. I mean, I know I cover One Piece spoilers, and back when Jujutsu Kaisen was coming out along with My Hero Academia, I covered those spoilers as well. You guys really like that. So I'm assuming that you won't really mind if I cover the Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo spoilers. Also, it's not like we get them consistently anyway. Just this week, we just happen to get the full chapter for some reason, but it's not like that all the time. So I don't know how consistently I'll be able to do the spoilers given that. And also, it's kind of difficult with these Modulo chapters because they're not as hype moment and aura filled the way that the original series had, because it was much easier to make like 2 videos with the spoilers and the actual chapter. And I say difficult, I just mainly mean like giving you guys incentive to watch the spoiler video and my chapter review video. And maybe some of you are like thinking, oh, you're thinking too much into it, we'll watch it anyway. Well, I mean, I appreciate that you guys will, but I'm just thinking of the large majority of my audience who is just people watching from the browse feature or suggested videos. I don't know, but I guess we'll just take it as it comes. But let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.